Services, and Jonathan Young from the White House. They're all around there. Thank you all very much for being here. I would also like to thank the Vice President in his absence for the work that he has done with me for 8 years to empower all Americans. Looking back, I think this is my 4th trip, Mayor, to Flint. I'm beginning to feel at home, and I'm afraid if I come back, I'll get a tax bill. I've been here so often. When I first came here in 1992, Mayor Stanley welcomed me. Now I'm about to leave the presidency, and when I'm gone, he'll still be mayor. I want to know what the secret is. Let me say, as Secretary Mineta said, this is a very fortunate time for our country. And it happened because of a lot of people across America working together. Flint has worked hard against tough odds to bring this city back, to prepare for a new century. And you have made a great deal of progress. I am quite sure that the people whom I visited today who are involved with the Disability Network and the Career Alliance and the people at this community college have played a major role in the resurgence of this fine community. But we all know that not everyone has shared in the American economic renaissance. We all know there are people and places who have been left behind, including millions of Americans with significant disabilities who want to go to work, but whose path is blocked, and who could work and could contribute not only to their own lives, but to the rest of us as well. The great labor priest George Higgins articulated a fundamental truth when he said, "Work is an important way in which we exercise our humanity. In return, society offers us not only our daily bread, but a sense that we ourselves are honored for the contributions we make." When I sought the presidency in 1991 and 1992, my first objective was to give work back to the American people. One of the strongest supporters I had was your former governor, who's here with me today, and my friend of many years, Jim Blanchard. And I thank him for coming. We went not only here in communities in Michigan, but in faraway New Hampshire. Jim went with me in the snows to listen to people who had lost their livelihoods, who broke down over dinner crying because they were afraid they'd never be able to send their kids to school. And we have in large measure succeeded. But we have not given every American the chance, first, to get an education, and second, to use their education to work and achieve the American dream. We have an obligation to do it, an obligation that requires us to keep expanding the circle of opportunity. And in this information age, when the pace of change increasingly accelerates at a breathtaking rate, we cannot achieve that goal if we leave any Americans stranded on the other side of the now famous digital divide. Now, for nearly 8 years now, the Vice President and I have worked to break down barriers that hold people back. One of the most important things we did was to fight hard in the Telecommunications Act of 1996 to insist that people with disabilities have full access to telephone equipment and services that most people take for granted. And one of our Federal Communications Commissioners, Susan Ness, is here with me today. I thank her, and I thank all those who helped us to fight for the rights of the disabled Americans in the Telecommunications Act of 1996. In 1998, we pushed through the Workforce Investment Act, requiring that any information technology the federal government buys be accessible to people with disabilities. And in 1999, I was very proud to sign the Work Incentives Improvement Act, which will enable Americans with disabilities to retain their Medicare or Medicaid coverage when they go to work and provide more choices for job training. This will give tens of thousands of Americans the opportunity to be in the workforce. But breaking down barriers is not enough. People actually have to have the tools they need to take advantage of this remarkable moment of opportunity, especially the tools they need in cyberspace. There are truly amazing new possibilities, as I saw today on my tour. Through information technologies, a person with a disability such as the great physicist Stephen Hawking can continue to be one of the world's top astrophysicists, and this is a big and, because he suffers from Lou Gehrig's disease and is the longest living person, as far as we know, in history with that disease. And I'm convinced that one of the reasons he is alive today, with the fire in his eyes and the passion burning in his heart, is that he can not only continue to learn, he can continue to communicate what he knows and what he thinks to the rest of the world, thanks to technology. Millions of other people with disabilities can also access and use the information superhighway if we build the necessary on-ramps. For example, we're creating a national network of community technology centers so that all Americans, no matter where they live or what their incomes, have easy and affordable access to the internet. I visited America's newest community technology center this afternoon right here in Flint, a partnership between the Department of Education, Mott Community College, and the nonprofit Disability Network, focusing on empowering people with disabilities to access the internet and learn computer skills. I was amazed by a lot of what I saw. Technology that translates web pages aloud for people who are blind or visually impaired, provides captioning for deaf and hard of hearing people, enables people with significant physical disabilities to control a computer through eye movement and brain waves. This technology has unbelievable potential. I have a friend in North Carolina named Joe Martin with Lou Gehrig's disease. Years ago, we worked together on education and the economy in the South. Joe Martin then was in great health. He was vigorous, energetic, charismatic, compelling, and effective. He's had Lou Gehrig's disease for some time now. And in spite of how great he was then, he is greater today in every way. Although he can't walk or talk or use his hands, his eyes provide a window on the world. With eye gaze technology, he can look at a computer screen and type away just using his eyes. He emails people here in Flint. With another glance, he can activate an electronic voice that reads his words aloud. This astounding technology has enabled him to keep his job as a banker, to talk with his wife and friends, and now write an about-to-be-published, compelling book about his life.